like that new logo I made. Pretty cool. What's up? Been a little bit since I streamed. Took a little bit of time off. Traveled a little bit over the weekend. Up into the hills for a cabin retreat. After releasing book 5. What's up, Star Wars Arrowverse Authority? Good to see you. Clean up my windows here. Good. Alright, gonna get into some book 6 plans today. Working on just the opening sequences right now. Mr. Arrowverse Authority, you say the sound design was great, but there was a loud I don't know that weighed over the music. What are you talking about? For what? I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Shoya? Sukui Tugish? Alright. I was just starting to transcribe a scene for Shoya to translate. I've been sending him big long messages of things to translate recently. So I'm probably going to have to get to that because in my opening sequence here, we go into this conversation which just has a lot of placeholder lines. This is going to set up Boba Fett. This opening scene is all about getting Din to Tatooine so I can play out the Book of Boba Fett storyline. The way I'm doing this is just beyond completely different than the original Disney show. As you know, we've already gone halfway through season 3, and here I am using the opening scene of episode 1 now. And I'm going to put the entire thing in Mandalore. I have it in basic right now. I just want to change it to Mandalore at this point. Just because I've done that more consistently. When I first built these scenes, I was kind of only using the Mandalore as an Easter egg. But the more I thought about it, and the more work I put into it, I was just like, yeah, you know, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I can't half-ass it. So let's go all in. Let's make it happen. Shoya helped a lot on the translation. So this 90-second sequence here is a whole conversation. It starts about some discussion about Bo and the Darksaber, and I'll run through it in basic what I have first, and then I'll translate it. Tonight's stream, I am basically using this time to familiarize myself with my book 6 because I haven't really worked on this for probably 6 to 8 months. This project file right here. So I'm gonna really, if you don't want spoilers, this is probably not the best stream for you because I'm gonna be like going through everything to see what I had done and the things that I need to do. As you can see, I've done a crap ton of work. Like I built book 5 like 90% and then built this one probably 75%. And then I just got delayed in life and these things sat idle for quite a bit. But you know, this still is going to require probably 1 to 2 months of work to fix. But I'm excited because this is a lot of stuff I haven't spent as much time on, especially the final segments going to Mandalore. I've got that in a different sequence here. Let me open that too. So here are my edits to the Battle of Mandalore. This needs so much more work too because I thought these 2 episodes were pretty bad. The base layout is non-existent. The choreography is very bad in some points. Some stuff it looks pretty good, like that initial jetpack scene. Some of it looks good. Some of it's really, really bad. Alright, what is this? Bo-Katan. Kill him. Okay. Yeah. Added a couple voice lines. So you can see I started brainstorming through all this. Moved around some scenes. Again, this is an episode 1 scene I'm putting here in episode 8. So like on the flight over to Mandalore, which is like right after the Din and Grogu reunion in my story, that's when we're gonna do some of these like bonding moments. So we've got the whale scene, and then excuse me, the scene where Din's like teaching Grogu about Mandalore. All stuff from episode 1 that I thought were good scenes. They just felt so cheap because they reunited so fast. Now, by the time Grogu reunites, it will have been well over 4 hours of content that you guys have watched before they actually reunite. Maybe about 3 hours. No, it's closer to 4. Yeah, it is, because it happens after the 2-hour mark of this movie. So I've done all that, and then you can see even off to the right in my timeline, I've got a lot of segments that I did so much work on, and I don't know what to do with them yet. It's like I redid this whole scene. My idea with this... Let's see. Yeah, see where's your subtitles go? Yeah, this one. So you see, I was having it framed as Boba Fett had hired the Night Owls to be part of his crime syndicate. Boba Fett is very, very involved in my edits in general, so I had a choice with what to do with the character of Boba Fett, because he jumps out of the system at the end of Season 2. Chronologically, according to Disney, then the Book of Boba Fett happens, and Boba just stays on Tatooine and doesn't get involved in Season 3 at all. I thought that was a horrible decision on their part. I get it probably had something to do with a conflict with Tamora Morrison and everything, though he did say he was like waiting for a call and he just never got it. So I don't know why they decided not to use Boba Fett in Season 3. I thought that was terrible. He should have been on Mandalore. So I will explain to you in this film what Boba Fett is doing and why he will, at the end, show up on Mandalore. He will indeed. He'll get delayed. Din's going to go help him, ask for him to, like, hey, in return for me helping you secure Tatooine, I want you to help the Mandalorians, your brothers, secure Mandalore. Boba Fett will say, all right, when you need me, call me, I'll be there. Then I'm going to play out the Hutt storylines. You see, I started replacing some of the dialogue. I think I've got that in... Where is that? Yeah, I edited the whole Dr. Pershing stuff, too. I had some really cool scenes I liked. I just have no clue what to do with this. Really, the only thing I've brainstormed is like releasing a random side episode that shows this. It does not fit in The Mandalorian, especially like my movie saga. My only option with the Pershing stuff was to make it like a B plot throughout the entire thing. But guys, I'm loaded already. I'm already running a Grogu storyline, a Din storyline, a Boba Fett storyline, and then a separate Bo-Katan storyline in one section of the movie. So this is all Bo-Katan without Din now. I edited Din out of everything in this section, so I've just got too many main characters where it's like I don't need Dr. Pershing for anything. No, it's not bad content by any means, I thought this was well produced. This was supposed to go in Rangers of the New Republic. This was an episode they had already filmed to put in Rangers. Then Rangers got canceled, and they just had this, and they're like, well, our Mando Season 3 production's going pretty bad. Let's pad some time and throw this in there. And they just added a couple scenes on, like, the one where she, like, calls Gideon at the end and stuff. They just threw that in at the last second and just said, yeah, we'll make that an episode. So I did a lot of work with it at first. It was really cool. Let me show you this, because I made like a whole news segment on Tatooine. This was fun.
The former Moff Gideon, a key figure in the fallen Galactic Empire, is accused of war crimes, including the persecution of New Republic citizens and illegal cloning experimentation. The War Tribunal will be conducted shortly, where Gideon will be tried for his crimes. The proceedings are expected to draw attention from across the galaxy, as many seek closure for the atrocities committed during the Empire's reign.
It's about time. We've waited long for people like him to face justice.
I lost my brother because of the Empire. Seeing Gideon stand trial gives me hope that healing can begin.
As the galaxy watches closely, many hope that the trial of the tyrannical Moff Gideon will mark a turning point, reinforcing the strength of justice and the resilience of peace. We will continue to bring you updates on this historic event. For the Coruscant News Network, I'm Lyra Seren.
Huh. From G68.
So that was just one idea I had on
showcasing the creative
on how to build up Moff Gideon a little bit, because I went to hint at his presence, so I thought that was like a good just world building piece. With this thing where the Imperial, I wanted it to sound like it was coming out of the box, like he has a mysterious Imperial benefactor. Not sure that entirely worked out, but I think the news segment would have been cool. I just don't know what to do with this. It just doesn't, none of this fits in the story of the Mandalorian. Like, yeah, at the very end, it ties into Gideon's return, but they could have done that in like 100 other ways that didn't require 40 minutes. So I redid all the audio here as well, because my initial idea for how I could use this in a purposeful way was that Pershing had, this was just a whack theory I came up with. I was just trying to brainstorm any reason to make this scene more important. Throughout the entire edit of Pershing's stuff, I was trying to work with the theory that Pershing had a chip in his brain that was connected to a chip in Moff Gideon, where he could always like track his location. And if you like extracted the information off the chip, they could find where Moff Gideon was. It was like a two-way GPS. And I was trying to use this of like, Pershing was a willing volunteer coming in here. This whole thing isn't him getting like manipulated. The whole story was him initially wanting to do better, but then getting tired of the New Republic, and he's not satisfied in it. It's, he's an immoral scientist deep down at heart. He wanted to work on things without restrictions, and the Republic was stifling his creativity, and so he willingly goes back to her, what's her name, Elia Kane, and he tells her, hey, I've got a way to find me Gideon. We can do this together. So he like volunteers. And so the whole feeling of this is so different, because like when they're doing this, it doesn't feel like he's getting manipulated anymore. This is like an Imperial bond where she's like really respecting what he's doing, because he tells her early on, hey, like, yeah, getting this information out of my brain is very dangerous and will probably kill me. and he does it anyways. And so you've got this like weird demonic pact, basically. Let me see how far I got into this. I don't remember half the dialogue.
Greetings, Doctor. I am your supervisor for the procedure.
The restraints aren't needed. I won't do anything.
Sure, I've heard people say that before. And then the next minute, they're trying to dig their own eyes out.
Again, I'm not going to use this. This was just placeholder dialogue for the ideas I was trying to work on. I don't think I'm going to end up using any of this, but here it is. Just for fun.
What did she tell you about the tracker?
Officer Kane pulled the old case files. To locate a bio-tracker with this implant in your brain, well, it's groundbreaking. But tampering with it, it's exceedingly dangerous. It is highly probable that this operation will permanently render you into a vegetable state. But don't worry. We will numb the pain and make the transition comfortable as we extract the location of Moff Gideon. The nanowave probe will attempt to triangulate the bio-tracker's frequency. But the moment it connects, your brain will experience a surge of conflicting signals. It's akin to being torn apart from the inside, though the pain will be beyond comprehension, and in the end, it will result in your death.
Death? No. That shouldn't happen if you do it right. Why are you rushing? The probe shouldn't start for another hour. Kane.
So that's kind of the direction I was thinking about going with it.
You've served the Empire well. Moff Gideon will be proud. You're a real credit to this project. It's nice to know that for every failure, there's finally been a success.
So anyways, I could go on and on with the Pershing stuff. Again, that was just a total draft that I'm probably going to end up not using. I was just trying to brainstorm any possible way to make the Pershing content fit into the storyline, because it's decently produced stuff. There's a lot of world building for the New Republic that I like. Again, it doesn't fit. Already, I'm dealing with a 3-hour film. My goal is, I've said it before, with Book 6 was to do something like Endgame style, where this is a definite 4-act structure that is culminating a long saga storyline. So I've always wanted to do like a 3-hour epic to end it. If I stick the Pershing stuff in there, it ends up going 3.5, 4 hours, and I don't want to do that. And I know you could say, hey, well, why don't you just do 2 films? Why don't you do a film 6 and a film 7? I tried that entire structure already. That's why I have so many parts off to the side, and why it's taken me so long to finish this entire project, because I did not like how the story played out when I split it into 2 more movies. Because instead of like one good movie to end it, I ended up with 2 subpar movies. And they were both like under 2 hours. And it just made both of them worse than having all the best parts in one. There wasn't like a clear ending for, if I was going to do a book 6 and 7, there was not even like a clear ending that felt up to par with the previous movies. And so I was really unhappy watching it on review, and I just scrapped and said, all right, I got to find a way to make a functional 3-hour plot. I can't stretch this out. And like when you end up doing this much Pershing content, Din ends up feeling like a side character. Like he's the main character for my first 5 films, and then he's barely in the 6th, and then he's like kind of in the 7th. Everything felt wrong. It felt really wrong when I did that. So this is the structure I'm working with right now, is Grogu's training, Din's role as a Mandalorian once more, going to Tatooine, trying to get Boba Fett to come to Mandalore with them, Bo-Katan fitting into her new role, leading the Mandalorians where she's at. Where's that? This is all my Tatooine stuff. This is my solo Bo-Katan storyline. I've completely recut the Raptor hunt to just be her. This is like her her time for glory. So we've got all that, and I think I showed it once before where I've cut out like the kid gets taken away by the thing. They're just hunting Shriekhawks just for sport, like Mandalorians used to do. So then I've combined that episode very smoothly with the end of the Ragnar Vizsla ceremony. And so then we cut back to episode 1. We cut straight from episode 4 to episode 1, like in between frames. And it looks like you can't even notice because you probably don't remember, but the Shriekhawk gets eaten by one of those alligator things. So like when they're hunting it, they take it down. Woo! It gets devoured by the alligator thing. They're like, oh, what's going on? And then the alligator thing immediately attacks all of them. You know, there's always a bigger fish type of thing. Stop that. Yeah. Okay. And that leads to Din returning from Tatooine at that moment. So again, all the green you see is Grogu's Jedi training. You see it's spaced out throughout the entire movie, so it seems like a lot of time is passing for his training. SWA says maybe have 2 parts unless you're able to make it seamless. Yeah, I think that might have been in reference to before I explained how I have to cut it down to 1 film. So yeah, we got the Grogu flashbacks. Then Din and Bo go to Plaisir. I've got a whole Plaisir plotline that goes on. A lot of people I know like to cut right from this flying scene and just go right to the Darksaber thing. I think you miss out on a lot of character building. And I mean, you can see how much I've changed on Plaisir. They don't meet Lizzo and Jack Black. This is like a throwback for Queel. You get a lot of character development, and we have to see this bond form between Din and Bo-Katan in order to buy this ending sequence. When you skip this time together, you don't get that. So I've changed a lot of this to focus on other things. And I've got some cut segments even from here that I could expand more if I want. Again, this part to give some flavor for the Night Owls being hired by Boba Fett. And then I had the whole droid bar scene. Is that this? Yeah. I can't find this music file. But this whole purpose is to point to Gideon's return. My entire Plaisir sequence is basically replacing the Dr. Pershing episode now, where they're like slowly starting to uncover an Imperial conspiracy in the midst of all this. And these are just the cutscenes, the ones they're just, the movie drags on too long when you include everything. So okay, all this is, of course, open to change. I can throw these back in at any time. They're pretty much good to go, but just looking at the overall structure of how I've cut it down so far, I'm pretty happy with this. And unless I watch and feel like I need more, which I don't think I will, because all this stuff seems sufficient to hit the points I need. So we go to Plaisir, do the whole Darksaber thing. That's a stream for another time, how I've changed that. We'll probably put that in Mandalore too now. Then we get the scene of Gideon's return. Hinted at his return, and then we cut straight into his conversation with Kane. Back to Grogu. They get back to Navarro. This, I believe, is this is my reunion scene I've been trying to work on. This needs a lot more work in After Effects before I bring it back in here. Like, I think the mask looks pretty good. I haven't color graded him to match the environment. And then I need the background to, like, it moves. It's a moving thing, but it's a static camera, so I need to simulate, like, kind of a handheld camera here, so these two blend naturally. Get some green reflection on him rather than none. But that's the plan. After 2 hours in between, after Bo-Katan gets the Darksaber, gets her title of Mandalore, they've got everybody on Navarro. They're doing their final, like, prep to launch. And Din gets a message on his N1. Hey, come back to Yavin. So he rushes off. He goes there kind of thinking, like, is something wrong with Grogu? He gets there, he's, like, really anxious. And this will be set up by this scene. This is going to play out differently, too. You can see I started replacing the dialogue in there because no, I'm not having Luke say you have to pick attachments or the Jedi. That's the opposite of EU Grandmaster Luke. So this will play out, and basically Luke is going to, like, almost encourage Grogu, like, yeah, go form your relationships. It doesn't seem like your heart is in it to be a Jedi right now, and like you want to forsake everything, and you don't have to. Go be with Din. You love him. Love is a good thing. If that's what you want to do, then go do it, and I'll be here when you decide to return, if you do. And so Grogu is like, oh, wow, I can be, like, a Force-sensitive Mandalorian, and maybe one day I'll be a Jedi, but right now I want to be with my dad. So I try to make it seem like Grogu's the one who calls Din back, sends him a message. We see R2-D2 does it on his behalf. And that's what gets Din back to Yavin in between the gathering on Navarro and the assault on Mandalore. So that's how they will reunite. And then they will fly off and meet... They'll meet everybody just straight on Mandalore. No, sorry. They do come back to Navarro. They fly back, gather, because we have this nighttime scene that I like. Yeah. This I've totally recontextualized. So in the show, they do this on Mandalore. I think they're, like, on the boat thing at this point. But at night, this looks pretty indistinguishable from Navarro. I haven't even color graded this yet. This is just nighttime Mandalore. They're both, like, gray rocky planets. And so I'm intending for this entire scene to still occur on Navarro, and then they fly to Mandalore after. So that's how that's planning on going. I really do not like, and you can see, like, Grogu and Din fly separately through all of this, which is odd because in the Disney Plus show, he doesn't even bring the N1 here. He like rides with them. I just did not like that, so I've made it where him and Grogu are kind of, like, attached at the hip after their reunion, and they fly in together. They get to Mandalore, walking around. I do not like that massive monster that comes out of nowhere. Oh, is that this? Oh no, that's I'm not having this whole pirate ship approaching thing with the ragged Mandalorians. They're still in it, but it's not like this big scene of, oh, we found them. They're just part of Mandalorians that have gathered on Navarro. They fly over with them. And then, yeah, where did I put that? I was trying to change the approach into the Imperial base because that giant monster that comes out of the ground, I thought it looked good visually. Somebody CGI'd the heck out of that. Put a lot of time into it, but it was so short and out of nowhere, and then like if you're gonna do that, why would you not have that be the mythosaur or something? It's just like a random worm in the ground or something. So they'll get into the base a different way, and then I started recutting all of the base sequences, the combat, the order of events, everything. It's my main challenge right now. I don't know how to fix this. I'm not sure it is fixable, but it's still... Moff Gideon returning is so dumb. And it feels bad when it happens. Even when I watched my super rough cut, and even the way I tried to build him up before, it's still an eye roll moment to me, at least when he shows up here again. They defeated him at the end of Season 1, they defeat him at the end of Season 2, and here he is again. What show uses the same exact antagonist 3 seasons in a row? Where he loses each season. And then he's back, he loses, he's back, he loses. And then even in this one with the clone thing, they were saving him in case they wanted to use him again in the future. Which wouldn't surprise me at all if they do. Maybe this is controversial. I'm leaning towards getting rid of the Looney Tunes ending and just cross dissolve, fade into black. Instead of that, I'm zoomed in here too, but maybe some people like that. I'm undecided on it. You guys can persuade me one way or the other. I lean against the Looney Tunes closing. It just doesn't feel like Star Wars. Is it like a cutesy type of thing? Yeah, sure. It gives a vibe when it happens, but is that Star Wars? No, I've never seen anything like that in Star Wars before, so I don't like doing things where it's like this has never ever been done in Star Wars in terms of like cinematic techniques, because it just makes it not feel like Star Wars, and I don't want to give people that feeling. What's this? Yeah, this I gotta stick in somewhere. So this is what I was looking for. This is the reason that Boba Fett is going to be delayed getting to Mandalore. Let me catch up on chat before I get into this. You could change it so Pershing is what's up, Goob? You can change it so Pershing is feeding information uncontrolled to Gideon to keep setting him up, and the procedure is to remove the chip. Yeah, there's definitely different things you could do with the chip idea, but I think the core problem of everything is you don't need it to set up Gideon. It doesn't really help, and either you include at least 20 to 30 minutes of Pershing stuff, or if you try and do less, it's just it felt so random and out of nowhere. Like Pershing's just poof in it for a couple scenes that were really pointless. So jury's still debating on what to do with it, but I'm leaning towards just skip. Goops says YouTube chat wasn't functioning for him at first. I like the idea of the chip. Pershing as a cloner. Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking it was kind of a good idea. I could change it to a behavioral control chip. Yeah. If I decide to do it, those are some good ideas. I just don't... I have to cut something else out of the movie in order to fit that in. And I don't know what that would be. I could trim down the Tatooine stuff, but then I'm going to cut out Boba Fett scenes in favor of Pershing scenes? That doesn't feel right to me. We'll see, though. We will see. Maybe I'll rewatch this and be like, oh, there's a 15-minute chunk I really don't need. Let's stick Pershing in there. It's possible. SWA did not watch the Lizzo episodes. You'll try to bear through it. Oh, the way I have it cut up is not bad at all. I think it's actually... There's parts of that episode that were fun. I like the Ugnaught stuff. And the way I've got it set up here is this big Imperial conspiracy. Let me show you at least this part. Again, these are draft sound effects. These are not finalized.
Anomalies.
We know you're the machinist. We met your friends in the Resistor.
You programmed them to serve the Imperial remnant.
Your scheming is over, ISB scum.
Everyone freeze! If I trigger this failsafe, it will convert every droid on this planet into an instrument of chaos and unleash them upon the unsuspecting citizens of Plazir. Don't make me do it.
There's no way out, Commissioner. Give yourself up.
Give up? I never give up. I didn't give up to the New Republic because I'm loyal. I am a servant of the Empire. And I won't give up to you.
You filthy Shabwir.
Shabwir is such a pejorative term. I support democracy. Moff Gideon, oh, he was a visionary. He was cut short in his prime by the Jedi Skywalker.
Okay, so that's one idea I have on, like, showing Gideon's influence. He still has loyalists who are trying to hinder the Mandalorians. So the whole time they're on Plazir, they're getting, like, rerouted. There's droid glitches, technical glitches. Their ship gets hacked type of thing. They're getting rerouted all over the place, and it's because this Imperial loyalist is trying to prevent the Mandalorians from reuniting. And we find out right after there, when we get to these scenes, it's on the orders of Moff Gideon. So I'm trying to show, like, Moff Gideon's impact in earlier events on the film, so it doesn't feel as just random when he just appears out of nowhere. So if anyone has better ideas, though, I am definitely open to them. SW, how are you going to fix the Beskar stormtroopers? What a question that is. You mean that, like, they're supposed to have Beskar armor and then they get shot and die in one hit? I believe I just cut out the references that they are wearing Beskar armor, because it doesn't behave like Beskar armor at all. I think that's what I did. I mean, you can see I've got dialogue cuts here and there. If that's what you're referring to, that they, like, their armor doesn't really behave like Beskar. Goob says the Looney Tunes ending sucks. Fade all the way. Dave Filoni for you doing that. And Shoya thinks the work is interesting. Cool. So as there's a lot of work to be done on this film still. That's why I'd say it's probably still 1 to 2 months away. I would probably lean more towards 2 at this point, just since there's so much audio I have to redo. And now that I'm going to be moving some scenes into Mandalore, it gives me more flexibility for rewrites. It also increases my workload. You know, like Act 1 is basically the Tatooine stuff. Boba's whole storyline is going to play out here. This is very important for just the overall story. Oh yeah, I didn't get you to the hut thing. Got distracted reading chat. So Act 1 is Tatooine. Boba says he'll go to Mandalore. I think I have this over here because I couldn't figure out where to stick this scene yet. So once Boba secures Tatooine completely away from the Pikes, seems like everything's good. He's going to go help Din. We got a special voice actor for Boba Fett in this movie. He's hiding in the chat somewhere. And then after it seems like Boba's established on Tatooine, that's when the Hutts roll in. So the Hutts are just kind of like BSing him at first. You can see the original and then what I was drafting as an idea. So, where is this? I've got so many drafts of this scene. This might not be the one I'm looking for. But basically, the Hutts roll up on Boba and tell him, hey, you better be careful about your Mandalorian associations, because if you're not invested on developing this sector and doing business with the Hutts, if you want to go play on Mandalore, go for it. We're going to take over all your stuff. Like, we're going to fill in the gaps. So either you stay on Tatooine and be a daimyo, make us our money, or we're taking everything you own. So Boba Fett's going to get kind of delayed on making it to Mandalore. I'm still going to have him show up and make that decision. I think that's a good character development for him, especially considering the EU, where Boba becomes Mandalore. I think they should have done here. Kind of peeved that this doesn't happen. There's still room for it in the timeline if Bo-Katan can die at some point. Maybe in the Mando movie, maybe in the Heir to the Empire movie, Bo-Katan can die and Boba Fett can take the mantle. I'd be chill with that for sure. And I say that as someone who likes Bo-Katan's character. But like, if she does all this, she's like served her role. She's done her duty as a faithful Mandalorian. So I am gonna VFX Boba Fett into this scene. So he's gonna be on, like, when it cuts around to the headshots of all the different Mandalorians. I'm gonna have Boba Fett here on Mandalore at the end too. And then he'll also partake in the space battle, wherever that is. Yeah, like when all this is going on, this is where Boba Fett's gonna like make his appearance and kind of provide the relief they need. Man, I dread getting back to this section because the organization of plot in this base is so bad. You guys, do you realize they like launched all these Imperial fighters, all these bombers? They make a big deal about it. They blow up the ship and then they just disappear out of the episode. They don't come back and do anything. It's like, why did we even do all that? Like, okay, they lost a ship. Nobody died. Like, they all get out. It just has no impact on anything. Which is like half the stuff in this episode. Din gets captured. Like, escapes in the hallway 2 seconds later. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, because I hate that so much. I think I tried, like, fixing the choreography in that scene. Where does he do that? Gosh, that scene is so bad. Yeah. I tried to, like, touch up the choreography a little bit. But I don't even want this to happen. I need to brainstorm a way for this not to happen, because it's so dumb. How he gets, like, captured there, and then they just, like, drag him away, and he escapes in, like, 3 seconds. Oh, I hate it. So I was trying to brainstorm a way to not make that happen. Okay. Best way to solve Moff Gideon coming back is exactly what you've been doing. Keep building him up to come back. Yeah, it won't fix the fact that he keeps being beaten, but it does make him feel more credible and more of a force. Yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing I can think to do with him. Either that or I cut out half this ending episode and just don't have him in it at all somehow. I don't think that's really possible, though. Check out Star Wars Chronicles channels. He is trying to merge the Disney stuff with the Timothy Zahn novels the best way that he can. That is right up my alley. I love that kind of stuff. And if there's like good headcanon theories that I can make true in my movies, heck yeah. Is this what you're talking about? Is heir to the or is it this? These are cool. I'll definitely. So he does like action figure animations. Interesting. That looks good for what he's doing. Dang.
All right, guys. Stand down.
I'll definitely check these out for ideas. If that's what he's trying to do, that'd be cool. Let me know if there's any more information about this before I dive in that I should know. That's a lot of footage to review. Just an hour of stuff here, but might have some good ideas I can pull from. Thank you. Gideon does kind of fit in with his first appearance. He's a survivor. Everyone always thinks he's dead, but he comes back to wreak havoc. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It just would have been so easy to do this plotline with like Pelion instead of Gideon. Then you're like building up Thrawn for the next projects, which you already intended to do. It just is an overall lack of coordination at Disney. Convenience and lack of proper planning leads to stuff like this. Let's use Gideon for the third time instead of something to set up our movie in 3-4 years, which they just don't plan. They didn't know they were going to do that, so they just rolled the punches. You know, an easy way to find a plan is just to use the one that's already in the EU. If you're having trouble planning, just use the ones that everybody already loved. Hey, Hardwick, what's up? Plot from the Dr. Pershing episodes of thinly veiled retelling of Orwell's 1984. Yeah, there's definitely parallels to those types of stories. I don't like how they portray the New Republic in it, though. It's like the whole reconditioning thing is... No one thinks that's a good idea. It makes the New Republic seem kind of villainous and not much better than the Empire when you're doing this type of stuff, especially when the reconditioning stuff isn't like this happy story of somebody actually changing. It's just a gigantic failure that leads to the Empire's return, essentially. The New Republic, I think... I mean, it's nothing like the EU New Republic, where there actually was a difference. And there was... In the EU New Republic, there was huge trials, but they made sense for what a New Republic would face. This one, in the Disney way, yeah, it goes like real weird, real 1984, just right away. I'm not a fan of the direction they're taking the New Republic. Yes, there should be flaws in the New Republic. 100%. But you don't have to make them appear tyrannical like this. Book of Boba Fett should have been an adaptation of Boba's arc in Legacy of the Force. Oh, yeah. 100%. Tomorrow's even the right age. Yeah. No doubt. There's still some rumors, people saying they might do a Book of Boba Fett Season 2. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're just going to include Boba Fett. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in Ahsoka Season 2, in the Mando movie, and the Heir to the Empire movie. I think we'll be getting a lot of Boba in the future. Sorry, in the Ahsoka show, we're going to get Tamora Morrison, I think, as Rex. I don't think we'll see Boba Fett as a character. I'm quite confident that Dave Filoni is trying to do an Abeloth storyline, and he's like mixing Heir to the Empire, the old Zahn stories, with an Abeloth story type of thing, And I think Baylan Skoll is his Joruus C'baoth character. That's where I think he's trying to go with all this stuff. And I've said it before, I do not like when they try to take little chunks of Legends and then just retell it inside the Disney canon, but it's so altered with different characters without the build-up that the EU stories had. Again, it goes back to the Ahsoka line in Rebels. There's always a little bit of truth to Legends. Yeah, and it's always worse than Legends when you do that. I mean, like I just showed an example of, there's just no proper build-up between directors. Because if you wanted to start telling a Thrawn return into an Abeloth, C'baoth with Baylan Skoll replacing him type of thing, you would have started setting that up right here. They just don't. They do everything very, very last minute and rushed. Grogu using the Force to protect Bo and Din from the fire. Remember season 1? Remember? Oh yeah, I remember too. Raise your hand, everybody. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, the first time he did a small fire, this time he stops a big fire. I was playing with an idea where I wasn't gonna have like Din and Grogu reunite until right here. I was just gonna have like Grogu saves them out of nowhere, but then it felt too random when I did that. I think it would have been cool, a cool idea for this to be the first time, but there's no supporting footage to make that happen. This sequence, all the stuff in the space is so rushed. I cannot tell you my disappointment when I watched this on Disney Plus. Where I am, the episodes come out at 3 a.m. I set my alarm for 3 a.m. I woke up, I watched it immediately. And I was like so disappointed I didn't fall back asleep for 2 hours. Just dead tired the rest of the day. This episode was like 30 minutes. And it felt so bad. Yeah. Again, there is some good stuff in all of this. But this episode was bad. Wait, wasn't it Fumiyama that directed this one? Fumiyama. That guy kills me. Where is this? I'm pretty sure I looked at this before and... Yeah, I gave these 2 out of 10. So yeah, it's stinking freaking Rick Fumuyi. Not even saying his name right. I call him Fumiyama. Famuyiwa. Famuyiwa? Rick Famuyiwa. I don't know. Not a fan of his directing at all. I think he's done... Like, literally look at the episodes he's directed for The Mandalorian. It's all the worst episodes. It really is. Okay. Depends on the secrecy of his return. Why should I be scared of Thrawn? Stop with the quadrillion teases. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they've given us no reason to fear Thrawn. He's kind of a doofus joke in most of the Disney stuff. Why do you not have Timothy Zahn on set for every single step of the way? I'm sure they've like consulted him a few times. I know Filoni goes and talks to these guys. No, Timothy Zahn needs to be like always there, 24/7. He needs to be in every single script saying, "Would Thrawn do this? Yes or no? What should Thrawn say when this happens? How would he react in this situation?" Like, Timothy Zahn is Thrawn. Goob's been fixing him a lot in the Rebel series, Thrawn. Get me started. Doesn't make sense how Bo-Katan stands helplessly without using the Darksaber, then suddenly remembered how to use it and cut the door with it. I'll have to review that because I can't recall the sequence of events that leads directly up to that. If that's the case, I will do my best to fix it and try and speed some things up so that she doesn't look like a moron. I'm all about making characters not look like complete morons when they shouldn't be. You mean for like this whole conversation and then she like runs away? I know I changed her voice line where she tells Paz to kill him, and that's like what, to kill Gideon, and that's what like starts their attack to try and get through. Stuff goes wrong, obviously. R.I.P. Big Dog. I need to fix the Din capture. That is probably my worst part of the episode. Let me show you. I got rid of all the clone stuff. There are no Gideon clones. If they, for some reason, decide to bring that plotline back in a future Mandalorian, I guess I'll consider going back and editing it, but there is no reason right now. My clones! I think that might be the worst line in all of The Mandalorian. Yeah, you can see I've done a lot of combat edits just to first pass on everything, cutting out the crap. Alright, I think that's good on the overview. Timothy Zahn is a sellout. He thinks Filoni knows how to handle Thrawn. I don't know enough to confirm that. But in general, pretty much across the board, actors, directors, anybody, they are all terrified to upset the mouse. Terrified. Nobody. It's funny, like, the only person that actually stood up to Disney, again, this is, I don't support what was said by Gina Carano, but, like, she did not give a crap about offending the mouse, and yeah, they fired her. But I haven't, like, nobody else has stood up to them and said, like, yeah, this is trash. I don't like what you're doing with this stuff. And her stuff wasn't even about Star Wars. Like, I just haven't... I know that stuff's not going to be public information if somebody did that, but... I don't know. I'm pretty upset by the stuff John Boyega said recently. That was, like, the most sellout thing I've ever seen, because I know they want to use him in the Rey movie, of course. And they're giving him a bag, of course, to bring him back after they just did horrible character assassination to his character, and I thought really disrespectful things to him as a person. You listen to his interviews, like, after the sequels, he was so mad, saying there's no way I'm ever going to do another Star Wars project again. He was calling Disney racist, and then suddenly they offer him apparently near $10 million, and he's like doing it on this PR tour. Now he's blaming the fans instead of Disney. It's like, that's gonna make me mad if I start talking about him. Disappointed. I'm somebody who was a big Boyega supporter for years. I supported everything he was saying against Disney. Like, yeah, they took his picture off the Chinese posters because he was black. You have a right to get mad about that, and he was being public about it. He said he felt like they sidelined his character in favor of other people. They did. I thought he was like 1,000 times more interesting than Rey. I think he should have been the Jedi, a stormtrooper turned Jedi. Like, you've got your Kyle Katarn story in Finn, and I think Finn would have been an awesome character to kind of take that, like, proto Kyle Katarn role, which I know, like I said, Disney, that's what Disney wants to do. They want to take little ideas from Legends and make them worse. And then, of course, they just dropped the ball with his Jedi arc completely. That went nowhere. But then Boyega, like, after so many people defended him and, like, supported what he said, and like, yeah, we feel you. You got screwed over. Your character got screwed over. They didn't treat you well. Read what he just said. He's like, he completely switched because Disney offered him a bunch of money to be in their new stuff. There's so many sellouts in Hollywood, and I would be disappointed if Timothy Zahn was one of them. I don't know if he has enough. Like, I don't think Disney cares what Zahn thinks about Thrawn. I think Filoni cares to a degree, but someone's making Thrawn act like a doofus, and nobody's stopping it. Don't know why. I was talking about the scene when Paz Vizsla is killed. Bo-Katan stands helplessly, even though she has the Darksaber. Oh. Let's see. How did I recut that? So Bo-Katan says, "Kill him." Paz starts attacking. She immediately goes out back. Oh, you mean like to go back and rescue him once that door closes? I mean, yeah, she could have run up there and cut a hole in and gone after him, but she would have died too. I know Movies Remastered did a really good edit of this scene, which I want to watch for inspiration again. I remember I watched his edit, and I really liked how he did this. He made it seem like a lot more urgent, and a lot of this downtime was altered. I definitely want to fix this. This music is really good. It's a great soundtrack here. I'll fix it. Don't worry. Don't you worry your little hearts. I will fix all this stuff. This is the way, apparently. Dave Filoni doesn't know how to do a live action. Yeah, I don't think we've seen any proof that he does. When I look at Filoni's skill set, he should be in the background overseeing, like, plot structure. I don't think he should ever be on set directing anything. He should be there, like, overseeing stuff for lore purposes. I think he probably is the closest overall mind to George Lucas. And I'm not saying that as, like, I think he is on George's level in any way, but in understanding what George was doing. I mean, does anybody else know of anyone on Earth who knows Star Wars better than Dave Filoni? Like Filoni knows all of the EU stuff. He's very, very knowledgeable, but I think he's really soft and squishy and gets pushed around. And I would say I don't think he's good at directing live action either. But there's definitely, I would say, a role for him at Star Wars. I think it's a much different role than he's in right now. I'd have him be in the background as just like a lore keeper, basically. Hey, Filoni, can you review all this stuff and make sure it's, like, according to the themes of EU? Make sure we're not going off the rails here. I think that's where Filoni should be. There's some directors out there that I think really get Star Wars. If you haven't listened to the interview with Scott Beatty on what he was going to do with his Kenobi trilogy before they cut it and turned it into a show, because Kathleen Kennedy was terrified of losing money from Solo. She thought, uh-oh, we can't do movies like that anymore. No more Star Wars stories. They can't make money. And she just, like, panicked and pulled the plug on it. And she's the one who said, hey, we need to go to this Disney Plus show model That's how we ended up with Book of Boba Fett, Acolyte, Kenobi. Lots of disappointments. Star Wars belongs on the big screen, and there are directors who are capable of doing it. Now, I don't know if Scott Beatty's thing would have panned out from a director standpoint, but listen to him talk about his script. That sounded like Star Wars. James Luceno's the GOAT. Yeah, he's probably top 3 for me too. Kevin J. Anderson, I would say, is my Star Wars GOAT. Love him, love him, love him. But Luceno's up there too. Honestly, like, listen to the minds who developed the NJO stuff. And I know there were definitely weak points of NJO stories, and the novels had a few low points. But when you listen to the behind the scenes interviews of how sacred those guys looked at Star Wars, they felt so much pressure to do George's legacy right, and they were just writing novels. And they had these crazy collabs, and were always like checking EU lore with each other. Seriously, listen to some of those interviews with those old authors. Oh man, that's the type of stuff. You need people who are afraid to do Star Wars to make Star Wars. You need a healthy fear. Now we just get like, okay, Taika Waititi, here's a movie. Just because you can make funny Marvel movies. I think his movies in Marvel are usually quite bad. Like, no. Have we not learned a lesson with giving J.J. Abrams Star Wars? You can't give it to people who don't understand everything. It won't work. Joe Johnston fought Disney tooth and nail to faithfully adapt the Rocketeer comics. They wanted him to change the setting from the 1930s to the 90s and give the Rocketeer an astronaut helmet. Fortunately, he won, and the movie turned out great. Oh, that's cool. I need to look more into that story. Yeah, the Scott Beatty interview, I was heartbroken the rest of the day when I listened to that. That one hurts to listen to. Genuinely hurts. I don't even like to think about it anymore because it will just make me depressed real quick. Beatty still would have Inquisitor Reva, member berries from Mustafar Luke, Kenobi leaves Tatooine. Yeah, you would have had the big picture problems. I never would have had Kenobi meet Vader. I think that's bad. But Beatty was given a direction. Hey, write us a movie trilogy where Kenobi and Vader have to meet. Like he wasn't allowed to do otherwise. And you listen to his vision for how that would have happened, 1,000 times better than what we got. I don't know if I would have liked the end product, but you tell me the story of Deborah Chow's Kenobi. Look at that on paper compared to Beatty's on paper. Not even a question which one has more potential to be good. Look at Rogue One. It's not the best movie ever, but the last part of the movie goes hard. Star Wars can't survive when written by a board. It needs people passionate to tell each story. Rogue One went through some big re-edits because at first it was like Gareth Edwards and then Gilroy came in. That's why the movie does feel disjointed at points. Especially like Act 1 is kind of like all over the place because they did a lot of reshoots. And you can see from the early trailers, there's a lot of clips they didn't even use. There's stuff that were in trailers that wasn't in the movie, and that you can tell it's like kind of jarring in that first act especially. Second act it starts to smooth out a little bit, and third act was good because Gilroy was like in charge by then. Gilroy's a very good on-set director. I don't think. I mean, he admits he's not like a big Star Wars guy. He's just talented. Somehow you need to fuse just general film talent with somebody who knows Star Wars. And I don't think a single person exists who can do both now. Like George was a once in a lifetime type of visionary. Was he a perfect director? By no means. No. 100% George had his flaws. And you know, those flaws I think became more prevalent in the prequels than they were in the original trilogy. In the OT, he had a amazing crew around him, bouncing off ideas and everything. And the prequels have their flaws. And I say that as someone, I would tell you I prefer the prequels to the OT. Sorry, it's what I grew up. I'm a prequels baby. I just like the era better. I'm not saying they're better movies. I like the setting and the world building aspect of. I'm a big fan of political dramas too, so I loved that. Are they better films overall? No. Do I like them better? Yeah. Not afraid to say it. I do. I just prefer them. But I will objectively say no. They're not as good of cinematic films compared to the OT. Not. I wouldn't even say anywhere close. But George did a lot of things right in the prequels too, especially I think pushing CGI to the levels he did. He was an innovator, and always everything he did, he was innovating. George had ideas. Yep, 100%. Before he was a director, Joe Johnston did a lot of work on the Star Wars movies. He designed Boba Fett's armor. Always thought he would have been the best director for a Boba Fett movie. Oh, that would have been cool. I've never seen Rocketeer. I didn't read the comics either. Love your work. Rendered Studios. What's up? Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You go by You got a capital E. Rendered Studios? Rendered? Oh. Thank you for joining, though. Very cool. Prequels for the win. I think they're just as good cinematic films, but honestly, they're completely different stylistically. Yeah, most people say Attack of the Clones is the worst, least important Star Wars movie, but it's my favorite for the opposite reason. That's cool. There's definitely very good parts of Attack of the Clones. For sure. Fun movie. Okay, let's start doing some work. I think that's a good overview of my plan. Now you guys can help me brainstorm some things as we go along. This is going to be a very lengthy process over the next 2 months to accomplish what I want to with this movie. I will do it. Let me show you what I worked on today. Let me just start you from the beginning. But film opens. Got some new clips in here of Yavin, since I'm placing this on Yavin. We'll be opening just with some overhead Yavin stuff. Where is it? That's like the Battlefront thing. It looks really good. I haven't color graded this yet too. And then we've got like an interior. I need to add some more camera movement. Right now I'm just using a slow zoom. It's kind of lagging. But you can tell it's a zoom and not a camera. You guys would be amazed. AI tools, if I give them like a still image of this first frame and I say like simulate a slow drone flying over this hangar, I'm telling you it will look better than just to zoom in through this hangar. They can do, like, yeah, AI stuff gets super derpy like when you're trying to do people and events and actions. But if you have a simple scene and you just want a basic camera movement, it does pretty darn good. So I'll probably just swap that out with a little fly through of this hangar. Then we get to Grogu. This is how the film opens. Training with Luke. We're doing this whole scene. This is such a beautiful scene. I have a couple changed lines of dialogue with Luke. It's mostly just stuff trying to display a passage of time, rather than, because I think here he says like, all right, for your first lesson, okay, this is not his first lesson with Grogu at this point in my story. So just replacing some of that basic stuff. We are going to still show that, like, Grogu hasn't really developed much yet. He still has a lot to learn about. I love this, having this scene first in mind of what we see of Grogu's training, because it shows he just has he's a baby. He has so much to learn about the galaxy and life itself. Before you can master the Force, there's just some basic concepts. There's basic truths you need to know. And so Luke is bringing him through those first basic concepts. We cut right from there. Today, what I spent working on was the title of my stream. Sorry, reading chat again. Rendered Studios, LOL. But also Ender. So that's why that's capitalized. Okay, cool. Loved AOTC when you were a kid? Yeah, same. Jango Fett was my favorite character in that time period. As a kid, my first email address, I'll leak it to the public. I'm not afraid. My first email address ever, I still have access to it. I'm really sad, extremely sad, because I just found out that if you don't log into your Yahoo Mail for 1 year, Yahoo will delete all of your emails. And they freaking did. I've had that email since, 2000, probably like 7 or 8. I had so much, I had like my old Star Wars fan fictions in there. Like my first original OCs that I made. Just horrible storytelling, but it was like really cute to look back on. And it took me, like, when I would reread those things, I remember those characters I made. Freaking Yahoo deleted everything. Unrecoverable. I didn't see the announcement, I guess, that if you don't, they just changed that, like, in the last year. If you haven't logged in a year, they gave you, like, a grace period, or they would just perma delete everything, and they did. I had emails from when I was, like, 10 years old talking to the author Karen Travis about the Republic Commando novels. I had so much, like, old Star Wars stuff I grew up with in that email. It was djangof@rocketmail.com. All completely gone, unrecoverable. Brutal. I just found that out yesterday, and I was very upset by it, because I was one of my buddies in the Supernatural Encounters community. He made a video on Karen Travis, and I was like, oh, I've got these awesome old emails when I was a kid. She was so nice to me explaining stuff. Went back to find them. Sorry, all of your emails have been deleted. You haven't logged in over a year. Bye. Inbox 0. So sad. SWA wants Disney to stop making Star Wars. It keeps getting worse. Dang. I just watched a video. Where is that? I thought it was it like perfectly summarized my views on what Disney should do and what I want to see with the EU. I can't find the video. Basically, yeah, I wouldn't be mad if... I mean, I don't want Star Wars to stop. But I think Disney has done more harm than good to Star Wars. I would have rather nobody owned it for the last 10 years. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, we've gotten some good. I don't think it outweighs the bad. I over the last 10 years, I've experienced more disappointment and sadness because of their Star Wars than I have joy. That's my personal opinion. So I wouldn't be mad if they said, yeah, we've done a bad job with Star Wars. We would like to stop and give it to somebody else. I mean, of course I would support that. But if it meant, like, no Star Wars ever again, then I wouldn't say, yeah, I'm ready for Star Wars to end. Because for me, like, now when stuff is bad, like The Acolyte, to me it's like it doesn't even exist. It's not Star Wars, period. Okay, that's a joke of a show, whatever. I just don't pay it any attention anymore. I couldn't care less about Disney canon. They don't even care about Disney canon, so why should I? Render Studios agrees with that. Shoya watched that in black and white recently. Rocketeer. Makes you feel like a whole new film. A real detective noir? Or what? What are we... No, not Rocketeer then. What were we talking about at that point? Oh, Attack of the Clones? Attack of the Clones in black and white? That's... If that's what you're talking about, that would be interesting. Looking good. Have you seen any of Joe Johnston's other movies? He directed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Oh, 100%. I saw that 20 times as a kid. Jumanji, also watched that 20 times. Jurassic Park 3, watched that probably twice. Captain America First Avenger. That's a decent list of movies, I would say. Those are all, like, you know, solid 7 out of 10 movies. Fun. Not masterpieces, but definitely respectable. And stuff like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that can't be a 10 out of 10 movie. You know. So for what they were, yeah, like, that's a very good track record. That was a good, like, I would say that's a good movie. I saved 10 out of 10s for, I mean, I would give Shawshank Redemption a 10 out of 10. What else? Man, I would probably give, like, The Dark Knight a 9.5. I wouldn't give it a 10. There's a few quips I have with it, but very, very, very good movie. What other movies would I say are close to 10 out of 10s? I'd probably say 12 Angry Men is a 10 out of 10. There's not many. Not many. Maybe... I mean, Lord of the Rings as a whole, that would be close. You know, that's probably a 9.5. Empire Strikes Back is also probably like a 9.5 range. What do you guys think are 10 out? Like 10 out of 10 is like there should only be a few ever. To me, that's like perfection. Gladiator would be up there. Unless they get a good director who understands how to make a real film, Disney needs to stop. You'd be sad, though, if they stopped completely. Yeah, I'm torn on it. I just, my faith is so shaken. So shaken. All right, let's look at what I did here. So, yes, title of the stream. First of all, through this, I hated the sound effects Disney had in here. It was so much of Mandalorian Season 3 is these, like, really weak and puny sounds. Like, the blacksmith sounds so pathetic. Let me mute this and show you what they had on their blacksmith sound effects. Tell me if this sounds like a blacksmith hammer to you. If it ever loads, you can hear. Sorry, you have my epic music playing in the background. That's a little bit distracting. Just listen to their sound effect track. Come on. I already reinstalled Premiere. Good. Okay, I don't know. To me, that feels like so shallow and tinny and soft. Did not like it. I just went online and found some real blacksmith noises. And listen. I have my own new soundtrack in here too. So I redid like the burning. And this is just a first draft. Haven't finished all this yet, but I want you guys to see this entire segment. Let me tell you what I changed first. So I changed all the blacksmith sound effects. They've got this... They've got these drums playing. Come here. Man, I'm lagging. Disney shows them for like 1 single second and then never again. You get like one little close-up. They like hit them once. Since I changed the soundtrack that has more drums, I thought it'd be good to go back to them. So I went back and did Adobe's got this new generative extend tool where you can generate extensions up to 2 seconds after. So I just extended the drum playing for another 2 seconds after and then used that 2 seconds to bolster it later on. I've rescored the entire thing with a totally new soundtrack, new background effects, and then I don't have subtitles up here, so only Shoya is going to be able to understand. I'll get subtitles in obviously at some point, but they're speaking Mandoa. So I have the armor speak it, and then I took this kid, Ragnar Vizsla, and with AI lip sync tools, I took a picture of him, then I made a simple AI video of him talking. Then you go in, highlight his lips, feed him new dialogue into a text box, and say, make the lips do this instead. Make them say these words instead for this video clip. So I generate like a 5-second clip of him talking, and then I would make it do these words. And it looks pretty darn good. When you watch this play out live, you're going to be like, dang. And especially because there's going to be subtitles under here, so most people aren't even going to be like staring down his mouth. But even if you are, it's pretty dang solid. So I went through and I did that same process. It probably takes like a 5-second clip. It took me probably 20 to 30 minutes. It's really not that difficult of a progress. And the software can do it pretty fast nowadays. So I did that on a few clips. Okay, so then we go through there, and then we get to Din getting his mission, which is kind of what I want to work on tonight. But I need to send all of this to Shoya for him to translate. So if you don't enjoy Mandoa translation, you can bounce after this, because like half my streams have been recently. I got a lot of Mandoa work to do. But let's let you hear the redesign. We'll just start from here. Play a few minutes. Disney won't get mad at me because I've replaced so much of the background music here. They don't care about the video. They get mad at the music playing. But since so much of this is replaced, it's all original. Takes a while to play. I need to add forge sound effects. So, but before this, again, this is a first draft on the sound. I need to have like a consistent forge fire sound effect, like that. That's exactly how it sounds. You know that sound. I can just pull it from other episodes, from like Book of Boba Fett and stuff, or even season 1 of Mandalorian. I just need like ambient noise of this forge, because it wasn't present in this scene beforehand. So that's missing right now. That's why it sounds so quiet here. Brutal.
Nisir burbat nergai, balbat tegai bita rugla mando ade.
Nisir bubat nergai, balbat tegai bita rugla mando ade.
Ibakni kelir kemirte arabete Mandalore.
Ibakni kelir kemirte arabete Mandalore.
Balte mite bete resol nare kuiru nawu kadven kartaili darasum.
Balte mite bete resol nare kuiru nawu kadven kartaili darasum.
Ragna Visla. Alit Orisha Taldin.
Alit Orisha Taldin.
There we go. So stuff I still need to work on, fixing the early silence in there. I want the music track to have like a little more depth to it. I already pitch shifted it a little bit, so I like that. I need to make it feel a little more cinematic with some just sound blending stuff you can do for. Adobe has this really cool essential sound section where you can just like throw it in music mode, and learning like what sounds right with the ducking. Do I need to duck against low sounds or high sounds? There's a way to make it sound more like a movie cinematic than just like a song. There's like a certain setting lists you can do, so I have to do a little bit of sound rework on that. Subtitles, obviously. I might redo one of the lip syncs. You can see, if you like when you stare at his lips, you can see they're not perfect. Some of the words are like do look really perfect. I mean, listen to what he's saying. Darasum. Like that looks pretty darn natural. I mean, it maybe takes you like. It maybe takes you into like a tiny. If you like really stare at it. This feels weird to me. I don't like zooming in that close. Sorry. Like you can see a little bit of distortion on the lips when you're staring, but again, there's going to be subtitles. Everyone's going to be trying to read the subtitles. And I mean, it looks better than him speaking English, which is what he's doing in the show. He's speaking English. His lips are moving completely different when I put in the Mandoa. This works pretty darn well. And when your eyes are bouncing down to read subtitles and then just seeing the movement just a little bit above, it's going to be quite believable. Especially if I set it to re-render like all of these with a few different options, so I'll find the best take it had. This first one, though, I thought was, like, perfect. And I put in there because I wanted him to look over at his dad. Because we see, like, oh, who's he looking at? And then it's like he's saying this quote and looking over at his proud dad. And it did it perfectly. It's so crazy what you can tell it to do. Like I said, I want the kid to speak, make his lips say these words. I fed it Mandoa words. And I said, then have him glance over at his dad before back straight ahead. And it just, like, it's freaky. Freaky how it can do that. Okay, a couple chats. Episode 7 out of 10. Terrible rating. Sorry, I'm behind, so I don't know what that's in. I don't know what that's in relation to anymore. Yeah, that doesn't sound great. You've seen real blacksmiths, and that first one is weak. That's like your brother hitting a metal sheet with a hammer. Yeah, their sounds are so shallow for a lot of this. I actually, even in season 1, they struggled to get an authentic blacksmith sound, so I replaced all of her hammer swings in like season 1 in the Book of Boba Fett. I've done it with everything else. It sounds so much better when you get like a real impact. So I found a guy like actually working in a black, like those are real noises I have now. I might pitch shift them a little lower. Like she's using Beskar tools on Beskar. So I want it to sound like a really heavy metal, making contact with the heavy metal, which is like the complete opposite of how Disney made it sound. Like ping, ping, ping. And I get like Beskar is supposed to be lightweight, relatively, for the protection it offers. You know, it's like the perfect metal in the galaxy. So I don't want it to sound like 2-ton steel or anything, but it should sound solid. They make it sound like really hollow. When you get those like high pitched noises, then it feels like it's like the metal's wiggling when you hit it, and that's not what a solid piece of Beskar should do. Does Premiere have the ability to export part of the main timeline into a new timeline within the same project, perform edits on that one piece, then import the finished timeline 1 into timeline 2? Yeah. I mean that's what I've got right here. So you see these are called sequences. So this level of stuff here, and you can see in this box over on the left, like these are the different sequences I have. So like when I open one of these, this is a new timeline essentially. And so like, yeah, I can edit this. I can drag this like straight over into one of the other ones. You can do anything in between. You can have different like resolutions inside a project if you just go in your sequence settings. I could flip these. I could make a 9:16 in this sequence and then do whatever I want with it. What is this? It's having trouble finding this media. I don't know what this scene is. Oh, is this my guest appearance? This is my guest voice actor appearance. That's funny.
Want me to ask around?
Would they know if you did?
We should assume so.
We should wait.
Is that my voice actor's line? That sounded... Oh, that was him. I was like, that sounded... Oh. I started... I don't want to say his name. the mysterious benefactor in the voice chat. Someone who may or may not have the same accent style as Tamora Morrison. I was like overlaying your lines on top of some of his lines just to help the blending between the actual Tamora stuff and your stuff. So some of them, it's like you saying it at the same time Tamora says it. That's why I asked you to say stuff that was like already in the original script. So they blend a little bit. Yeah, anyways, hopefully that answers your Hardwick, the finished Timeline 2 into Timeline 1. I hope that answered your question. If not, feel free to clarify if I didn't show you the Premiere functions that you were looking for. Take 50 death sticks, kid. Act like a man. Jedi Force mind trick you. What do you think you're like? What are you talking about? Again, I'm behind on the chat. I have no clue what that's in reference to anymore. Wow, very cool. Thank you, Rendered. Appreciate that. 2 thumbs up. Yeah, of course, still a lot of work to do in that opening sequence, but once it's done, I think it will definitely be an improvement over the original, which is my goal. Take each and every scene, see how I can make it a little bit better. Even if it's just like 5-10% better than the original version, let me do it. I'd say I made this one twice as good, especially because right after this you get that really bad alligator attacking everybody scene. Just like the dumbest thing ever. What a great way to open season 1, with just like a giant eye roll of terrible fight choreography. Make the Mandalorians look like complete dunces out here. IDK, if you saw the potential alternative songs, you personally like the second one you sent. It's slightly longer than the one, fills out the whole scene, avoiding that silence. Oh, and that beginning part. Let me drag them in here. I listened to them like very briefly in Discord, but I didn't. Yeah. I didn't watch it with the video synced up, so I just had the audio on when I was in the car. I'm listening to the second one right now. It's kind of cool. Might as well let you guys see what I'm looking at. Nice. That's gonna be a tough call. Is that you sent me the MP3 just that one? Listen to the other one. Just... Yeah, like the vibe of the second one better. What does other people in the chat think? What do you think about that second one compared to the one I have already in there? I liked your intro better on that one, Shoya. I like the drum intro better, and like you said, it's longer, which fills that part. I'm not a huge fan of the start of this one. Like the first 3 seconds I think are just kind of weak when it starts. I do this musical note though once it gets to her working on this. I know the lyrics aren't as accurately translated, but this part I really like in this one. Man, it takes so long to play. I think that soundtrack, it works really well for the compilation time-lapse type of visuals. There's definitely some parts that the one you sent do better. Let me finish the sound effects on the surrounding stuff, and then I'll export 2 versions and send it to you and a few other people and see what you think works better. They both have some good parts. So let me finish the surrounding effects, then I'll do a A/B test on switching out the 2 songs. This one sounds a little too Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, that I'll send it around for some testing. I'll throw it on might throw it on Original Trilogy as well. Just say, hey, here's 2 versions. Which one do you guys think fits the scene better? I'm torn. I'll have to review it. What's the lip sync software that I used? Oh, I tested so many before I found one that I really liked. I tested the ones through Runway. I tested what was that called? I'll tell you the winner, but I can't remember. There was one that was really complicated software that wasn't as automated. It didn't look as good either. I ended up going with this one. If you've done video AI stuff, this is one of the leading AI video gen stuff out there right now. It's called Kling AI. It used to be really hard to sign up because it was Chinese only. They believe last year they let the rest of the world play. You used to have a Chinese phone number if you wanted to use this, and people were in America and Europe trying to find ways to get Chinese phone numbers so they could use it. It's improved so much in the last year anyways, but if you go in here, they have a whole slew of tools. So you can see a lot of my generations and testing stuff. I made that Yavin camera movement in here as well. When I had that shot of Yavin from Book 5, when I just added camera movement to a still render, I did it in Kling as well. So you've got all these different tools, templates, and then so if you do if you go in here and you do an image to video first. So I would export a still shot of the kid, just give it a prompt, have it render a few different versions of him talking. It's a bunch of these aren't loading for some reason. Then you go into this lip sync mode, and there's this whole new menu comes up where you can redub stuff. You can do you can even make their face have emotions and all as they do it. You can record your own voice with the words too if you wanted to copy that. So there's just lots of different tools in here. They've got so many wild tools. They've got virtual AI clothing trying on and stuff. It's wild. They have AI sounds you can generate now. I use this a lot for when I was doing my Supernatural Encounters adaptation. Just throw in anything. I want to show you the camera movement tools you have access to. Let's see. So you can add pan, tilt, roll, any type of movement. You can tell the camera to do those type of things. So with my Yavin stuff, I told it hey, I want you to move up and diagonal and zoom in a little bit. It just does it so well. So yeah, you can add a bunch of different camera settings, and then where is this? This one's really cool too. So it's got motion brush tools. So say I wanted this helmet. I could auto just say I fill this in really nice and pretty. I could say that. Then I can go draw a path and say I wanted the helmet to go up there. I go in and then I would type in the woman on the left slightly lifts the helmet up, and it'll just do it. And you can put more details in, to get some of the stuff with the lip sync. I was saying have the wind slightly blow his hair, continue the water motion in the background, which it's so freaking smart. It's freaky, guys, but it did all of it. Look at the water moving in the background. Even with the blur, it knew what to do. Look at the slight hair movement. Isn't that crazy? Just the amount of detail this stuff can do now is just insane. Like I said, it got him to look over at his dad after his lines. It's wild. Absolutely wild. Kling, highly recommend it. It's super expensive. I will warn you. I will. Most of these AI services, if you want to have the capability to do it right, most of them are going to run you about $100 a month for one single service, and even on that, you're on a credit system. So these are just the credits. Every time you do a generation, it's still somewhat limited. I work in TV production, so our whole department uses this for advertising stuff anyway. So we have company accounts and all that we've used for other services. But I like Kling and I like Runway as well. Those are the two best. Runway does the lip sync as well. I just had a little bit better success here. So you can extend shots. That's how I did. You can do the drum shots in here. Adobe just integrated it, so that's this generative extend tool as well. A lot you can do. Can you use both? Blend and swap the two soundtracks? I can look at that option. It's pretty, yeah. Jack Sparrow claims the Darksaber. Basil Polydorus? I'm not familiar with that name. Anvil of the Crom would sound great in the background. It's too iconic without distracting. Well, I don't know it by name, so let me see. Oh, that's from Conan. Cool. Oh yeah.
The oceans drank Atlan a troubled.
If I could like translate that into Mandoa. If I was like a super talented musical composer, I would definitely take like a couple notes from this and integrate it into some of these Mandoa things. That would be a really cool callback. Okay, so yeah, overall though, this will work out really well once I finish it up. It's already getting kind of late. I gotta make it to the gym. I did not make it to the gym a single time last week because I was staying up so late every night working on book 5 so I could get that thing released by Friday. Missed every single. I went on some runs after work in the evening. I do those Spartan race things, so I have a adult obstacle course near my house as well. Trained on that, but didn't make it to the gym a single morning because every single night I was up till like 1 or 2 a.m. trying to get that film in ready for release. So I do need to cut it off here in probably about 10 minutes. I would like to be able to get Shoya this scene script though. Does Adobe have automatic AI captioning yet? I think they do. Where is that? It's like Windows. Where's my text window? From transcript. Is that what I want? Mandalorian. Don't they have? Oh, there. So if I take like all of these. No, don't. I don't want it to do everything. Oh, come on. That's how they do it? I can't do it by the ones I actually have selected in the timeline? What? What? Maybe this is where I like throw it. Am I missing something that's that easy? Why would it not let me? Oh no. Goob is on commission again, aren't you? DaVinci Resolve has a good automatic subtitle feature. Okay. Subtitle edit does, and it's free, and you can give me the... How much are they paying you? I'm stubborn, damn it. I like to do things my way. I mean, what I was about to do in order to not get all of these is I was going to make a new project and then have those be the only files in it. Let's call it like transcribe, please. Goob, I'm doing it my way because I can. I want to learn how to use that subtitle edit thing, definitely. I'm just being an asshole for no reason. Because I can. Give me my new sequence. This is probably like the most... I don't know why it's doing that, though. There we go. I mean, that's doing what I want now. Hopefully it put those in order. Does subtitle edit do it faster than this? Can I like download subtitle edit and do it faster? I'm gonna start downloading it right now. I'm already pissed off at Premiere. But then I'm going to have to, like, export this anyways and import it. It doesn't, like... It's not a plugin, is it? It's like its own software. This is freaking slow. Is it even trying? It's estimated 0. It doesn't look like it's even trying. Alright, you've convinced me. I think you sent it to me in my Discord. Where is that? Oh, that's the tool to like separate the music. Let me just search. Heck. If you sent me that subtitle edit link, I am just... Maybe send it to me again. Because there's on Google there's like the GitHub version. Is it this Nixie one? It's on video help. Oh, there's your Discord. That is the Nixie one. Okay. Oh, I saw you post about this on Original Trilogy, I think. Didn't you post like a guide with it too? Where did I see that? Or did you make your own form for it? Where was that? I swear I saw this. Am I losing my mind? I can't find where you posted it. I swear I read something from you. Yeah, that's where it was. Render the clip. I wanted the subs for. Why is Premiere just like not trying? Go. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Huh. Well, thanks for joining today, everybody. The stream will get a little bit boring here for the last few minutes as I download software and send Shoya a script. Question from Hardwick, though. Yes, Shoya, I will send you the book 5 link for tonight, and I will accompany with it a bunch of translation requests. All your burnt-in captions hurt me. I can make them all and display like that without burning them into the video. Oh. Did the ones in book 5 come in burnt in? When they're on this track, does Premiere burn them in? I don't need... For some reason, I was thinking when you do the subtitle track... Like, I know if I do this, they'll be burnt in. But I thought it would still like let you toggle like VLC or something. All right, Hardwick question. You're looking at Kling's plans. How far does 3,000 credits per month go? They have a plan that offers that for $26 the first month and $37 after. Auto subtitle for the English speaking scenes. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Just edit and you can download it. Oh, well, thank you so much for offering that. Let me see if the subtitle edit thing does what I want. I think it will once I learn how to use it. But appreciate that. If I run into trouble, I will take you up on that. So, Kling, how far will 3,000 credits get you? It's a good question. Best way I can tell you is just to show you. It depends how much you're working with it, obviously, but say you want to do a video. You want to make a 10-second video. You want to use the newest model, which pretty much you always should. Throw this in here. I would say on average to get the shot you want. I mean, look at how many times I had to. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, you can on the right side of my screen. How many times I had to render that to try and get what I wanted. Like with most things, it takes on average probably 4. I would say on average it takes 4 attempts to get the thing you want. Sometimes it can take 8. Sometimes it can take 2. So just to give you an example, in order to get a good generation of one 10-second video, look at that. You're looking at 280 credits. So you say how many, that's why I say it just depends how much you're going to use it. You're going to get probably 10 clips for 3,000 credits. You'll get 10 second, you'll get 10 good 10-second working clips on average. Is that worth it for 30 some bucks a month? Up to you. As Dex would say from Dex's Diner, depends on how big your pocketbook is. So we're on, my company has multiple AI video plans, so yeah, we've got the beefier ones that give me quite a bit. As you can see, I've got 27,000 in there. They're not, like, AI tools are not cheap yet, unfortunately. Technology's improving a lot. Prices aren't coming down because there's not much competition yet. Like when you have ones like Kling that kind of dominate the space, they can pull in the bigger spenders with their prices just because they do it best. But if you have like one shot you really, really, really want, and it's, you know, first month, $25, is it worth it to you? I can't answer that. Amazing Dex impression. Yeah, that was flawless, huh? Okay. Goop, how long, if you're still there, how long is this subtitle edit thing going to take to do? Let me make sure this is in the right order. Why is Premiere not even trying? That pisses me off.
Yes, Din Djarin. The signs are undeniable. The great Mythosaur calls to us. We must answer her cries and return home.
And Bo-Katan will lead us?
Bo-Katan can unite Mandalore if she can prove her strength and reclaim the Darksaber in combat, as is our custom.
If she wants it, she can have it.
And so, you wish...
Okay, so what, I export this? Right now, Hardwick, you are mostly interested in using it to create a few shots for your Bram Stoker's Dracula Purist edit. Oh, wow. It would probably do really well for that purpose, I would actually say. Things like stylistically, depending on like what you're wanting to do, like what shot you need. But like those, when was that movie made? Was that the 80s? With that kind of camera, it would probably do that pretty well. Yeah, I would think for $25, $26 you would you would be able to pull it off for the scene you want. And yeah, if that's what you want to do, for sure. I think that software could accomplish it. Quick, original PC. Okay. Okay, so export this. Videos. Take it into subtitle edit. Audio to text. Is that auto translate? Subtitle loaded. Load something new. Help me! Oh, you sent me a guide. Let me open that up. Okay. Open. Subtitle edit. Narrate video. Open video file. What the bastard? Where is the... Didn't I just export that into here? Oh, it's because I made it an MP3. You probably told me not to do that, didn't you? Do I need to render it as an MP4? Oh, come on. Just... One bit rate. Just spit it out fast. Okay, let's try you again. Video, open video file, videos, transcribe, there we go. What? Okay. Good. So it's in there?
Yes, Din Djarin?
Okay. Then I go video, audio to text, whisper, FFmpeg. Sure. I'm just downloading everything now. Goop's giving me a virus, I bet. Hardwick, you need to create a shot of Quincy P. Morris saying, "It was worth it," as he dies. A shot of Mina hugging Jonathan. A few other shots. The tricky one is a shot of Dracula crumbling to dust. Cool. Let me look at those. I'm trying to think. You could definitely do the "It was worth it." Do you have a way to do the audio? As he dies, the shot of Mina hugging Jonathan. I would probably say that that one would probably be the hardest. If it's like a slight movement, that would work. But if they need to like close the distance and then hug, that's the type of stuff AI really struggles with still. There will be like morphing with the arms a lot of the time. It's getting so much better. It's close. And sometimes you just get lucky. But that's one of the ones where it might take you 10 generations instead of 2 or 3 to not get like a weird glitchy movement on an arm or something. I think you could still probably do it. Especially, it does better with slow movements than fast movements. So if you say like reaches out, if they're like close already and you say and slowly hug, but then it kind of looks like it's in slow motion at times. Dracula crumbling to dust, I actually think it could do that pretty dang well. Kling is really amazing. Anything that's like materials. Oh, it does so well with materials. This shot right here, I think, is like visually one of the most impressive I've generated out of it. Where is that? And this was on the older model. This wasn't even on the newest one they have released. This is one from like 8 months ago. I think it's the
architects of Sky River, Vutsek had been the most aggrieved by the actions of his treacherous cognates on the Dawn world. And of the humans, he felt unwavering contempt, for they so readily fell prey to their deceptions.
I mean, that one looks pretty good for what's happening, but that's not... It's the one where I have him like come out of a cloud. It looks so nice. I'm gonna have to skim through an hour of stuff. Oh well. But yeah, anything that has to do with like materials and like dust, sand, clouds, lightning, it does those so well. I wish I could find that. I can't remember what point in the story it happens. Oh well. Good luck. That sounds like a really cool project, though. And one way or you could definitely get some of what you need with Kling. For sure. Okay, back to subtitle edit. Let's finish this up. Okay, what you got? Faster whisper. Model, I've got nothing. No model allowed. Don't need that. On. Is this bad that I don't have a model? Where's my models folder? My models folder is empty. That seems bad. Why I'd do that? It's not gonna work, right? If I... Oh, okay, there. Now I download. Large. And in charge. This dude is burdening me with this thing tricks you. It's like, oh yes, this tool is only 10 megabytes. And then it makes you download like 50 gigs of models. Goob owes me a brand new SSD. You'd probably use 11 labs for the audio. You could maybe use just the shot of Mina and Jonathan smiling at each other instead of the hugging, if that couldn't work. Yeah. Yeah, 11 labs definitely is best if you're doing a voice clone. Tried to make Dracula crumble to dust in Halo. Always comes out wonky. Yeah, that one does a couple things well, but I haven't been as impressed with it. I would try Kling or Runway. Runway just released their new model a couple days ago. I haven't even played with it yet, but I have the subscription to that one too. And on Runway, I do have the unlimited one, so if you would like me to test that for you, send me a still image, and I'll see what it looks like for Dracula to crumble into dust for you. Then you can at least know, like, should you go with Kling or Runway. Oh, look at that. All right, you got me a bunch of text. Okay. All right. What can I do? Can I plain text export everything? Heck yes. Look at that. All right. That was easier than... Sorry, laughing because it tried to auto-translate the Mando I did have in there. I think he says, Retorsiumi orivod. Retorsiumi vod. Lawad. Hardwick, do you... I don't know if I have connected with you on Discord before, but if you know me on Discord, some people have different usernames in YouTube compared to Discord, so I'm not sure if there's overlap on something else you follow me on, but feel free to email me. You can find my email in a lot of my YouTube videos at the bottom if you want to send me that Dracula picture. I can just copy this and send it straight to Shoya now, right? Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm a fan, Goob. You've earned your commission. You can email... Where is it? Nixie? There we go. Telling the world. I'll let the div know what you've done. You'll earn your paycheck. And then you can use that paycheck to get me a new SSD, because this thing was 10 times bigger. I've got plenty of space on my SSD. Don't feel guilty. I still got room. These are my two editing my externals I'm using, and this is my internal. I have like nothing else on my computer other than I've got like a few Steam games, maybe like 200 or 300 gigs of Steam games, the editing software, and all of this is just footage. I'm at 4 terabytes of footage. That's nuts. Okay, let me send this to King Shoya. Let me review this together. I know Din's supposed to say this first. You wanted to see me? Yes, Dinjar? I don't know why. Great. So calls to us. Let's answer her. I kind of want to reword some of this. Just reviewing my script here. Yeah. So Din, just so we have context. I'm trying to get a... I went to, maybe even through AI and Kling, to get a clip of, like, I went Din here. I wanted to show that Din's in the ceremony, because he's actually not in the Disney version, but all I need is, like, a close-up like that of... Even if, like, Din's in the back row, and there's just a rock wall behind him, and maybe we can see, like, one flag. That's all you need to believe that Din is here at this ceremony, which he should be. So that's probably something I'm going to try to achieve tomorrow on my own, is get a clip of Din at this ceremony. Like, see, I mean, like if Din is standing back here or something, we just have a close-up. As long as you have a close-up of his face next to this rock wall, when he's like looking this direction generally, should be pretty easy. Sweet shekels coming my way. Okay, review the script. So, the context, Din will be at this ceremony. Then he's going to enter the Armorer's Forge. He's back in here after completing the ceremony. You know, we assume maybe 30, 60 minutes has passed. Din walks in, ceremony's wrapped up. Hey, you wanted to see me? So let's just go like, hello, greetings. Greetings, you wanted to see me? Squee. Yes, Din Djarin. The signs are undeniable. The great mythosaur calls to us. We must answer her and return home. Let's see, return home to Mandalore. And Bo-Katan will lead us there. Bo-Katan can unite the Mandalorian, can unite the clans if she can prove her strength. Here's like only if she can prove her strength and reclaim the dark saber in combat, as is tradition. Din, if she wants it, she can have it. And so you wish to yield it without the right to combat. This goes against our... I just said tradition there, so I don't want to say it again. That should be right, as in right. Let me just say, like, this would violate the creed. Some of these things, this is the auto-translate, it just is doing something. I believe Bo-Katan should be our Mandalore. Shouldn't that be enough? This is Din. This is a theme of my entire movie. This is a theme of why the Darksaber will actually change hands. Shoya, if you're still around, I haven't watched this yet. I'm very curious as to what you were doing here. I read the description, but I was like out at a church thing earlier. I was like, whoa. I can't hit play right now. So the main theme of Book 6 with the Darksaber is belief should be enough. And as long as the clans believe that Bo-Katan is worthy, even if she doesn't have to kill Din to take the Darksaber, as long as the clans believe that she should be Mandalore, and she wields the saber, and they have faith, they have belief in her leadership, that's all that matters. So Din's whole thing is like, why should it matter how Bo-Katan achieves that belief in her as long as she has it? She has my belief that she would be a better Mandalore than me. It's like, what? Why does she have to kill me to take it, is kind of his point. And so Armor gets kind of pissed at this. Your belief does not alter the fabric of our culture. It is not for you to decide. She sits down in the chair. Let us speak of this no more. Din gets the message. He says, what about our other clans scattered around the Outer Rim? Armor says, indeed, it is time to gather, I want to say like our brothers and sisters. They just use one. Shoya will translate this into Mando talk. Shoya's got a new version. Oh, it's 3 minutes. I'm gonna have to watch this on my own later.
Ation me ni beri skran maljahati meg.
What? You translated this into Mandalore?
Ner. Oh ho ho ho, jatigite magalka simo. Alor.
What drove this passion of yours to do this? Okay, so Din asked, what about our other clans? What about the other clans scattered around the Outer Rim? Indeed, it's time to gather our brothers and sisters. We must extend our hand to those who have strayed from the path. Let's say the way, essentially. Kind of using like Bo-Katan as an example. Like, okay, see how Bo-Katan came back into the fold? We need to do that for others. But we need them all to rejoin and follow the way. Din asked her, what of Boba Fett? He has proven himself a capable warrior. He has strong ties to Mandalore through his father. Not yet. I'm not sure why that's in there. I don't think I had that. This is what a Boba Fett... I think that was just like a mistranslation by it, but I want to make sure I'm not missing something. Go, 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 go.
Boba Fett. He has proven himself a capable warrior and has ties to Mandalore through his father.
Not all would accept him, but his strength is undeniable.
Is that what it said? I don't know where it got that. Okay. Not all would accept him, but his strength is undeniable. If you believe he can be swayed to our cause, then yes. Extend the invitation. We need all of Mandalore's children. Din says I will leave for Tatooine at once. Goodbye, brother. Goodbye, sister. That's Shoya. This is just how it automatically translated that. I think I was just trying to do the goodbye. Goob, I'm gonna send this to you as well. If you want to review this for story improvements, is this getting across what I want? So as you're reading through this, I mean, basically, Din is talking to her standing up. She sits down. They talk some more. They both get up and say goodbye. And I have just like 1,000,000,000% gutted this original scene and made something completely different from it. This is him like bringing her the shard of Mandalore and saying, oh, I found this from a Jawa who sold it to a trader who said that Mandalore isn't poisoned. I think we should go see if it's poisoned or not. That's what I've taken that away and just completely made a new conversation. And it would have worked fine in basic, but it will sound much better in sweet, glorious Mandalore. So then after this scene, I'll just show you the next couple minutes so you guys know what I'll be working on my own. Transitions there. So again, we've had Grogu, then the ceremony, then this conversation, up high shot. I'm pulling back episode 1, episode 4, Book of Boba Fett. This movie I'm making right here is craziness. I'm just like constantly switching episodes and you cannot tell. Because now it's like nighttime. I wanted it to seem like evening, so I get this passage of time almost. So I'm going to darken this a little bit so it looks like it's later in the day. We just see this clip of, again, this is something from 3 episodes later, but look how well it fits in with the sequence of events I have now. So after the ceremony, after this conversation, Mandalorians are doing Mandalorian shit at nighttime. They're training, everybody's sparring. I'm using the clips of like, and there we've got Ragnar Vizsla now. He's inducted as a Mandalorian. He's taken the oath, the vows. He lives by the creed. He's just training. I've taken out, this is all the stuff where Grogu was training here, and I've just like used all the surrounding shots and just make it seem like a normal Mandalorian day as Bo-Katan strolls through. Just watching the training going on. Just looks like a normal day in a Mandalorian life. And you can see, like, the clan is growing. Like, more Mandalorians who are scattered across the galaxy are arriving. Now that we have, like, this passage of time between movies now, since Bo-Katan saw this mythosaur and has that new covering. So again, we see Ragnar Vizsla training. Winner. Again, this is stuff where, like, he's looking... This is from completely different parts of the episode. He's looking down at Grogu right here, right before they're about to, like, do that paintball spar. But now, after I just had him, like, faceplant that other Mandalorian kid, now he, like, walks away victoriously and looks down. And you get this little character moment of, like, hey, Ragnar was, just inducted, and here he is. This is kind of cool. This is sweet. So, I should have... I think I'm going to leave this in basic. That's a good question. What do you think about Shoya Goob, anybody? In these type of now we're having like a chill conversation outside. See, the armor's coming out, and this is just going to be between Bo and Din, where he's telling her he's going off to Tatooine to get Boba Fett. Like, to me, I lean towards, yeah, that's a conversation for basic. It would still make sense to use it in Mandoa, but you know, it's a small talk kind of conversation. It's nothing like serious. I'll let you play this out. So I'm leaning towards leaving this to basic, but let's see. Oh, hold on. Pause. Let me catch up on chat. I see a beautiful color. Thank you, SWA, so much. Really appreciate that. It's very, very kind of you. Let me catch up to all the chats, and I'll get to that one. Steamed hams is kind of an old meme, but I kept getting a bunch of them in my recommend, so I just had to translate it. I haven't done it. So, okay. Okay. That's funny. Thank you for doing that. Good thing I'm purging that scene, because that scene was atrocious. Oh yeah, I made fun of that scene so bad in my Season 3 critique video. That's one of the worst scenes in The Mandalorian. That opening conversation with the armorer. It's so bad. Watch my 30-minute breakdown of Season 3 if you want to hear that. Hoping to get the Old Republic Encyclopedia at some point. Noticed it recently. Anyways, here's $10. Well, thank you so much. You should use that on the Old Republic Encyclopedia, man. Where is that? Which one? I'm trying to find the book you're talking about. Is it this one? Dang, I've never even read this. How have I not read that? I can't believe I've never even... What the heck? Why have I never acquired this? Dang. I've got the Old Republic Collector's Edition. Like, I've got the Malgus statue. I've got, like, the galaxy map. What else came with that? I'm looking over it on my desk. Trying to remember everything that came in there. It came with, like, 3 or 4 things. The Malgus statue is the nicest. I can't believe I've never even, like, seen a digital version of this. That's a hefty used price. Is it this? I've read the Journal of Master Nostaral, but I've never read this one. I've read all the Old Republic tie-in novels. Can I see any of it? This is just a limited preview. Dang. Yeah, I guess it looks like it's a pretty rare book. If this is a real website, that would be a very good price. Dang. It looks legit. I'm not sure about this website, but the listing seems like a person, I guess. Cool, man. I'm going to see if my library has this too. Probably not. Maybe. I've got a good library system near me. That's a cool book. Thanks for letting me know. I hope you are able to acquire this. That's a rare book, it looks like, nowadays. Nice. I'd love to read it with you. Let me know if you get it. I'm going to try and get it too. I'll read it alongside you. Thank you so much for the soupy. It's very, very kind. Shoya, chill convos, especially about non-Mando related things. Basic works. Perfect. Cool. Basic works, because that's how you do it in the other movies too. Yeah. Cool. Alright, I'm cool with it. Let me show you the basic then. And I'll show you my opening transition. Dang, this is going to go on for like the next 3 minutes. But I'm going to let this roll. I'm going to show you the end of the conversation here. And then how I transition into Boba's opening scenes. And then I'll close the stream for tonight.
What did the armorer want?
She's sending me to Tatooine to recruit Boba Fett.
Oh, great.
Keep training. Boba's father.
Sorry, it's lagging really bad. Let me turn down the quality. But she says, you know, what did the armorer want? She's sending me to Tatooine to recruit Boba Fett. And so I've found these clips where everybody's head turns. So again, this is like a Grogu thing that's happening. But now I've used all their reactions for when he says Boba Fett, because it like triggers this response in everybody. Like they just heard the name of Boba Fett, which they're all familiar with. Everybody freaking knows Boba Fett. He's this like really controversial Mandalorian who doesn't follow the way. He's a rogue. He's a renegade. A lot of people don't like him. He's a crime lord at this point. And even if you're going by the EU stuff, like Boba, you know, worked for the Empire. Okay, he's got a certain reputation. He's like this ghost figure in the background. So I have everybody snap over and look at Din when he says that, and he waves him off here. He waves him off and says, "Keep training." Okay, let's see if it plays at lower quality. And Bo-Katan makes a sarcastic comment. She's like, "Great."
Oh, great.
Keep training. Boba's father was Mandalorian. He deserves a seat at the table.
He's a crime lord. He's abandoned his seat.
Let's give him a chance. He surprised us once before.
Gosh, do you see? I keep getting these alerts. Look at this. This is why it's running so slow. Anybody know how to fix this? It keeps telling my stuff can't be read quickly enough from storage. I've got a very, very high-end computer with very, very high-end SSDs. What else am I supposed to do? Like, there's almost no higher parts I can upgrade to make this read faster. And it keeps, like, I've already reinstalled Premiere. I don't understand. It's like the most basic tracks too. Like a random voice line will be like, can't read it fast enough. Check your storage and try again. What do you mean check my storage? I've got plenty of space. Is it my RAM that's capping out? I've got 32 gigs. I might need to upgrade to 64. Let me try. I got my task manager open. See if. I mean, this is a massive project file, so. But even like this is taking too long.
The table.
He's a crime lord. He's abandoned his scene.
Let's give him a chance. He surprised us once before.
Gosh dang, it cannot play this. It keeps cutting out the audio. My RAM's not like capping out. 70% usage. Premiere has just been disappointing me. Like 5 years ago, it was better than it is now. I'm so tempted to switch everything to DaVinci. Okay, anyways, I'll just have to scrub through it. I'm on as low resolution as I can get. And you guys might say, hey, what, hit a render. Render into out. It makes it worse. I've tried it 100 times. It renders, takes forever, of course, but once it renders, it makes it even worse. The video plays smoother, the audio cuts in and out 10 times worse when I do that. Crazy. Anyways, so we get this musical transition to Boba. He's in his back to healing tube. We zoom into him. He's having a dream. I've actually got sound effects in here from episode 2. So it's Jango Fett saying... what's the phrase he uses? It's like, Boba, Sekoi Huki. Sekoi Huki. And he's speaking Mandoa to him in that scene. So that plays. You got some, like, just some Jango Fett quotes. Pack your things. We're leaving. I have that line play right before this. Because I'm... You know, this is like a mushroom trip type of experience. So I kind of use that line of pack your things, we're leaving. As just like we're going on a trip, boys. He's having these like deep, intense back to dreams, which that's kind of a thing in Star Wars when you're in these like back to chambers. Like think of Luke in Episode 5. I think they even talk about it in the Empire Strikes Back novel. When you're in these like back to comas, you usually have like intense dreams. So I've just got some quotes of Boba's life playing through here. I play through the Book of Boba Fett episode 2 thing where, you know, he sees this tree of life in the distance. I don't have the thing where he like actually builds his gaffy stick in this like stupor state, but he sees flashbacks of himself. Self in the Sarlacc. More Boba lines. There's some Fennec lines. Just a recap of Boba's life, basically. I was thinking I'm gonna try and add a clip of Jango getting beheaded. I think is that in there? Is that already? It might already be in the Book of Boba. I think there is a clip of that. I need to put that in, and then it flashes back. This I am having take place like in between, basically. This is like the end credits scene of The Mandalorian. When he kills Bib Fortuna. So I have that play out like it's a flashback. Where we see Boba take his Tatooine throne here. So we kind of can infer, okay, as Book 5 was going on, you know, Boba fulfilled his promise to Din in Book 4. And then in the downtime... Boba he took the throne on Tatooine. He's been trying to build up his crime syndicate empire. And then we start to introduce the Pike conflict. And if you saw my old book 5 from like 2023, you'll be really happy with you'll be happy with the way I portray Boba in here. This dude is a savage. He's not a pushover. Dude is a savage all the way through. And it's like the thing that softens him is not like, oh, I want to be respected. I want to be a good ruler. No, the thing that kind of changes his leadership style is the Mandalorians. It's Din coming to help him, and it reminds him, first of all, of his father, the familial bond he had with his father, and then it kind of brings back the loyalty he experienced with the Tusken Raiders. And he's like, he seeks that family somewhere. He appreciates that bond, as all Mandalorians are like ingrained to have this deep respect for familial bonding and honor and helping out their brothers in need. As much as, rivalries as there are in the Mandalorian clans, yeah. That's going to be the character moment for Boba that kind of changes him, of like softens him a little bit from, I wouldn't say softens him, but makes it where he's not solely focused on personal gain, having him see something bigger than himself, which I that's an EU Boba Fett storyline. He grows to be someone bigger and to accomplish something more than just being a gun for hire who's a very talented warrior. And then, I've got a super, super slimmed down version of this car chase. I believe it... Who was it? There was some VFX artist who went in and... He recolored all of these speeder bikes so they're not like the stupid looking neons. And the mods, they're just immediately in Boba's army. Like they're just part of his crew. They're background bodyguards. They're nothing more than that. It's not this big drama where they stand up to Boba and then he like accepts them and likes their advice. No, like from the get-go, they are just presented as his goons. That's all they're going to be. Guns for hire on Tatooine. No role. In the background, they listen to his commands. Okay, so then the Pikes get introduced here. Boba says we'll be ready. Then we're going to cut back to Grogu. But check this out first. Back to Yavin. When we check out Grogu's training, Yavin, New Republic. Yeah. Back to some Grogu training. Back to Boba. Again, this is a part where Din is flying to Tatooine from near the Mandalore system. So this is quite a flight. There must be a long passage of time. This should be like a week's journey. So in my film, it takes us almost 20 minutes. It's like 17, 18 minutes to get back to Din. Because he is flying across the entire galaxy, and he's not going to teleport to Boba's front door. We're going to see events play out on Tatooine to catch the audience up with what Boba's doing. We're going to go across the galaxy to look at Yavin, see what Grogu's doing. Back to Boba Fett to advance the plot some more. I believe this is where our guest voice actor has some appearances. Yes, he does in here. I've got a whole new voice line dialogue from this guy, setting up a brand new storyline through all of this. I won't spoil the whole thing now. I'll do a review on this another time.
The Pike Syndicate has landed in full force, openly encroaching on our territory. They've been smuggling spice, undermining our own sales.
Okay, so when we jump into this film, like we're 20 minutes in, and I'm making it like he's been this crime lord for all of Book 5. So for the last 6 months, from the end of Book 4 to the beginning of Book 6, it should feel like almost probably 6 months has gone by. He's been trying to get a foothold on Tatooine. He's got some territory. All these other people are like they're already in this big turf war. It's not like this slow build up of him from nothing to something. He already did it. He's already there. And just by reframing and reorganizing the scene orders, like putting the Hutt stuff after everything else, it completely changes Boba's storyline. So, new stuff with Boba here. Get some Boba scenes after he does this whole thing still. Trying to get the others to like, hey, what are you gonna do? Then Fennec wants the Mandalorians, wants the Mandalorian. She's got the idea, and oh, what do you know? The Force works in funny ways because Din Djarin is already flying there. And so he lands, coming to get Boba Fett right as Fennec was trying to get... Boba was trying to get him. So you've got this, like, mutual understanding, this Mandalorian bond that spans the galaxy, across the stars, a Mandalorian love story. Not really, but you see what I'm trying to do. So he gets there, has some chit chat, and then he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm coming for Boba," and she's like, "Huh, I was coming for you." And so they kind of talk. She throws him a bag and says, "Hey, Boba wants your help. We need like pretty much an officer, a general to help us in this battle." Din says, "Keep your money. I want something else. I want Boba to join me on Mandalore." It's lagging too bad to play, but basically that's how it plays out, and that's how we get into this plot line of, all right, if Din helps Boba here on Tatooine, Boba will join Din on Mandalore. Boom, there's my plot. It's set up 30 minutes in. We have a very clear picture of why Din is on Tatooine, what Boba needs. Probably, like, you can start to see where Boba's arc is going to go. Then we bring Cobb Vanth back into it. And then pretty much the next 30 minutes is the rest of Tatooine played out, interspersed with some Grogu stuff here and there. So this is the main chunk of the modern day portion of the Book of Boba Fett, heavily edited, as you can see. And I gotta do definitely another big pass on all this, but it's in place and it's good to go. Because I made all this, most of these like individual scenes were already made for my old Book 5, so a lot of it's the same. And I mean, I know this whole section a lot of people really liked, so I'll be leaving that. What else? The other main thing is I'm gonna keep, I believe, I'd have to double check if I still have it in there, but I have a version where Chrysanthemum is not portrayed to be on Boba's team ever. And that he's hired by the Hutts later on. And so I use that scene of, so like after the Hutts roll up on Boba Fett and they're like, "Hey, you better stay out of Mandalore, this business, focus on Tatooine, give us, get us our money, do business with us, stop messing around on the other side of the galaxy. Like, are you a daimyo? Are you this crime syndicate leader, or are you going to be a little Mandalorian? Make your choice." Boba's going to get kind of pissy at that. Like, I'm going to do what I want, get out of my territory. Hutts aren't going to take it well. Hutts hire Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum attacks Boba. Boba gets tied up and can't make it to Mandalore in time because he's getting encroached on by the Hutts pretty bad. Which I am hopeful will pan out, because everything of the Mandalorian Grogu movie points to the Hutts. If you've seen any of those leaks, it looks like the Hutts are going to be pretty heavily involved. Not sure if Boba Fett's going to be in that movie or not, but the Hutt plotline, they were trying to do something with it that they never got done. So, last thing I'll show for tonight, but after the Tatooine battle, the show just ends. I hate how this happens in the show. Like, the last you see of Din is like so long ago. I can't even find it. Like, you don't see Din barely at all for the last 15 minutes. He's in like one scene running down a hall, like an alleyway, shooting a blaster, and he's carrying Grogu. So I had to change that too, but that's all. And then you don't see Din for like the next 15 minutes with like all the Cad Bane stuff and all. I guess like you have Grogu with the calming the Rancor. But there's no final conversation with Boba Fett. It just, I hate how it does this. It just goes up here and it pans up right into the sky. And this is where you, in the Disney show, this is where you get like that clink, clink, clink. You know, bouncing the ball on the window. And then Din shoots him into hyperspace, and that's it. I transition right out of there to this static image of Din flying. Of course, there's no Grogu in my storyline right now, so we're not going to end with that. So I have a conversation between Boba Fett and Din Djarin on here. Boba Fett confirming, yeah, I'll be on Mandalore when you need me. Yeah, and that's it. And then Din tells R5, hey, make sure you keep checking for pings from Yavin. He's going to say it like really sad and then jump off into hyperspace just to give that little nod back to Grogu that we know Din is incomplete even in the midst of all this great Mandalorian stuff he's doing. He's still thinking about Grogu. He can't stop thinking about his son, which is very sweet and very tender. And then as Din is now flying back from Tatooine all the way back to the Mandalore system, this is when we get some Bo-Katan plot development, and it's showing her in the middle of this Shriek-Hawk hunt. Din has been totally edited out of all this. I've done all that already. This will play out perfectly smooth as Bo-Katan accepting her new role in this clan, in this covert here, her leadership. They're kind of putting her to the test. Let's see how you do leading a hunt. Can you get people to believe in you? So, I want it to be assumed that kind of like the armorer put her up to this. Like, you need to start earning the reputation in this covert to have the belief that you will wield the Darksaber, that you will lead us back home. You have witnessed the Mythosaur. The Mythosaur is your head covering now. You walk a new path. So she's kind of like earning her keep, earning her role through this whole process. And we just have a lot of Mandalorian culture and type of stuff through all this. I'm probably going to translate a lot of this to Mandoa, just because it's a classic old school hunt. And there's no kid capture, there's nothing. They just go up and they just want to kill a Shriek-Hawk just for sport, because that's what Mandalorians did. That's how they were always portrayed in the EU. This is the kind of stuff they would do, just for the glory of the kill. To hone themselves, to turn their bodies into better weapons. To prove their strength. So that's when we have this whole thing. They kill the Shriek-Hawk. Shriek-Hawk falls. Alligator eats it. Oh shoot, now we have to fight an alligator. Transition right back to episode 1. They fight the alligator just as Din Djarin is getting back and landing. Because we've already seen a whole day-to-night cycle. And even when they're doing this, it looks like they've been on the hunt for a while. So it's like, feels like a couple days has gone by. And you can assume some of this early stuff happened like early in the Tatooine section too. So then it's like, what is it? It's about 10 minutes go by before Din Djarin makes it back. And we've seen over a day, almost 2 days of events occur. So again, getting rid of teleportation is one of my primary things.
What did I miss?
So Din Djarin comes in, kills the alligator after all that. What did I miss? Boom, back to Grogu. I'm getting way more detailed than I said I was about to, and I'm super behind on chat. I've just been going. Back to Grogu. Back to some time at the covert. Another scene I just completely 100% gutted. Every single sound effect, rebuilt it up from scratch. This is the new way they're going to get to Plaisir 15. And I'll go through that on a different stream. Because if I start talking about what I did with Plaisir again, it'll be another 30 minutes. And I'm already streaming an hour longer than I wanted to. I wanted to make it to the gym. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be freaking tired. I'm going to do it. Let me check that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my Premiere. After Effects always works perfectly fine. Encoder works fine. Photoshop works fine. I cannot get Premiere to be stable. Drives me crazy. Here's a first thing to translate, Shoya. Goob, sending this to you as well. If you want to review this for story changes, if there's anything I can tighten up there, would really appreciate a review on that too. I'm going to be watching your Rebels edit during my lunch break tomorrow. Looking forward to that. I think I need to upgrade my RAM. I need to get to 64 gigs. I really think 32 is just... Like, when I was running that, I'm at like 75% capped. And I know Premiere, like... I should check the setting, how much it's auto-saving for other programs. Because if it's like trying to auto-save like 8 gigs for other programs, then it thinks it's at 100%. That might be causing some of the instability. I should get to 64 anyways. Alright. Thanks for streaming. Oh, let me get through everybody's chats here. We'll run through these real quick. SWA still have to catch up on the expanded universe books that you have, then get new ones. Yeah, that's always the temptation. Make a huge stack of stuff you haven't read yet. I feel that. Shoya loves that. Whatever I was talking about at that point in the chat. That's the way it should have been. They totally shafted Boba in season 3. Oh, I think that's like when they like turn their heads and at the mention of Boba Fett's name. SWA, usually order those books from Amazon. It's easier. You have an Amazon account. Yeah. It's just more expensive up there. Sarah Vasa trip. Yeah. Set in and out and pre-rendered. Oh yeah, that's what I told you. Nope. Pre-rendering stuff makes the video better, makes the audio worse. Cuts out every single time. I even hit like the render audio and then do render into out. Nope, doesn't work. It was doing the same thing in book 5, doing the same thing now in book 6. I don't know. RAM upgrade's my next thing I can think of. It's my big fear is my SSD that a lot of the files are on is failing. That's been scaring me. I do have a backup, but you know, I only do the backup probably once a month, if that. I probably wait even longer sometimes, 2-3 months. Yeah. Backing up is just time consuming and annoying. I know you should do it often. The regular version of DaVinci is free, so it's easy to try out and see how you like it. Paid version adds a bunch of features. Once you pay for it, you own it forever. I like the sound of that. Shot of him in the Sarlacc is flipped, by the way. You can tell the rangefinder being on the left side. Did they really do that? Wow. That's funny. Alright, thank you. I will... If that's on their end and not something I accidentally did, I will flip that the other way. You can use the more brutal extended cut of Jango's death. Would fit the tone of this movie better than it fits AOTC. Yeah, that edit is very nice. I'll look into that. Fennec took Boba's spot, kind of. I remember some people thinking that the Mod Girl, is a character from the EU. Yeah, no way. Mod Girl is just a bad character. I don't even know her name. Did those people even have names? People just call them the mods. Gosh, those were bad characters. They didn't do anything good. All they did was, like, rip Boba's balls off. They're like, no, we can't hide in here. We need to be out defending the citizens. And then Boba's like, oh, you're right. I can't believe I doubted you. And then they correct him and he listens. Stupid. Hardwick, I still remember how I thought Robert Rodriguez was going to make the Book of Boba Fett all cool and edgy like the Mexico trilogy and Sin City. Instead we got Spy Kids mode. That is so true. That is very, very true. I didn't like the announcement of him taking it from the get-go, actually. But as soon as they kind of announced, like, you're doing this Book of Boba Fett story, and it's just this... I didn't like the premise. There's so much more you could have done with this character than... The Tusken stuff was decent. Definitely not bad. But when you have such a limited series with Boba, like, he had 4 episodes of Boba Fett. That's all. So then, like, half of it was the Tusken stuff. You can't make a good... Well, I take that back. I was about to say you can't make a good show with 4 episodes. But I'm pretty sure Chernobyl did that really, really, really well. That was 4, wasn't it? That's one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. If you haven't watched that, Chernobyl, phenomenal show. Dramatic recreations of the events of Chernobyl. Yeah, anyways. The whole premise of Book of Boba Fett was just bonked from the start. We call that the Manda, the collective soul of Mandalorians. Oh yeah, the bond. Yeah. It's almost like... I would say it's the Force. Like, the Force works through all living things, and when people experience this type of unity, I mean to some very, 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 very small degree, like, the Force connects the Mandalorians, and it works in funny ways. Yeah, I mean, George has always said, like, everybody is Force sensitive to some infinitesimally small degree. You're all connected in some very, very minor way. Obviously, some people are born with a much greater connection and can do a lot more, can sense a lot more. But yeah, certainly there are Force-sensitive Mandalorians, and this collective soul that they have experienced for 10,000 years. That's how they've experienced it in a way. Yeah, the Manda interpretation of the living Force, the way they experienced that connection, for sure. This all sounds so much better for Boba, the Boba arc, for sure. Oh, well, I didn't have much competition. Like, there is no Boba arc in Mandalorian Season 3. They just write him out of the show in Book of Boba Fett, and they castrate him and then just say, see ya. Might see you in 5 years for a movie or something. So yeah, this was like one of the main reasons I decided not to do two more films and just have it one unified film. I had to get Boba right. I just had to. That was one of my main goals. Pretty solid structure. Cool. Still a lot of to touch up with it, but yeah, I'm happy with the skeleton. Hardwick would recommend I back up my main drive with the Macrium Reflect, my other files, with free file sync. Yeah, I need to look into those. Thank you very much, because right now I just have like a static drive I just drag all my files over to and walk out the door and come back in a couple hours. Just reminding you before you log off about Book 5, for sure. Yes, it was a while ago, and I thought you were about to finish. Yeah, Chernobyl was great. Cosmic Force. Yep. Cool. I'm caught up. Thank you, everybody. I went so far over what I was trying to do. Good times, though. It's been a while since I streamed, so it was good to catch up. I'll stream sometime later this week too when I work on some stuff on my own. Give Shoya some time to translate. Cool. I will send that to you right now, Shoya. Thanks for the suggestion on this subtitle edit. I'll be using this for other scenes for Shoya. Alright. Peace, everybody. Jessica?